Hello everybody, welcome back to the Sean Show, episode 5 of season 2. That's right, we just had week 2 of NFL football and it was pretty amazing. And recently we just had Thursday night football. Had a nice little win on the bets there. We'll bring that up in the later section. Let's go over the agenda. If you're new to the show, this is basically just turned into a picks and bets show. I did create a model during the preseason, which predicted every single game of the season. So we're going to track how that went, how it's going, and then at the end of the season, we'll see how injuries, perceptions, all of that stuff kind of changes what you'd imagine a season would be like. At least the records and the playoffs, seeds, etc. All right. Let's get into the agenda. I'm starting to ramble. So, week 2 sim results. Then we're hitting the week 3 sim predictions. I'll tell you if I agree or disagree with the picks there. We'll double up as a pick section. Week 3 against the spread picks. During these 3 sections, I am tracking the records of the sim and my own against the spread picks. Just so you know if you should, follow my picks or not. And then I do have a new section here, week 3 lines we like. These are lines that you can throw into your bets to just pump them up a little bit if you want. These are not deep bets. They're simply just your standard just beefer upper, okay? Take it as you will. And then we have our 2 regular bets, our 5-game parlay and our $1 million bet. Alright guys, let's get into this stuff. So, week 2 sim results. We went, the sim went 9-7. Their pick rate was 56.3. We knew they picked Green Bay there, so they were definitely going to get that one. Sim picked the Browns, not good. Jags, not good. Cowboys, got them. Lions, San Fran. Look, and some of these games could have gone either way, honestly. I do believe I picked the Colts to win. The sim picked the Colts to win. This looks incorrect. I just need to check this model very quickly. Something has gone awry, and I don't like that. Colts versus Broncos. I'm looking for the AFC North. No, I'm not. I'm looking for the West. AFC West. No. Actually, the model had the Denver Broncos to win. I don't know why the graphics team has just fucking shit on my dreams right there. But we did actually choose the Broncos to win, which is why it is still 9-7. Alright, there's the results. I'm not going to talk through them. You can see it with your plain eyes. There's no point. There's no point. The sim didn't do as great as we imagined the sim would do during the preseason. But there is still hope. Still got another 15 weeks of games. Alright, let's go to this week's Sims picks. So, the sim is 20-13 on the season, which is actually not very bad. The season pick rate is 60.6%. Now, as the season goes on, and we've already had some pretty impactful injuries in the season, that I do not believe the model accounted for. It did account for certain injuries, but yeah, a bunch of quarterbacks going down. So let's see what it's picked this week. It picked the Bills to take out the Miami Dolphins, and they did that on Thursday Night Football. Now, it's going with the Atlanta Falcons over the Panthers, and I agree with that. I'm also picking the Falcons. I'm going with the Packers as well over the Browns. Texans, Jags. This is a tough one. I think I'm going to go with the Texans. Jags could very much win that game, and I think they are favored. In the Bengals versus the Minnesota Vikings matchup, this is a tough one. So Aaron Jones is out for the Vikings. JJ McCarthy is out for the Vikings. Joe Burrows is out for the Bengals. The model picked the Bengals based off 2 healthy squads, and I'm actually going to go with the Bengals as well. Jake Browning did play last week, and he threw quite a few picks, I believe. Now, JJ McCarthy is also out, as I mentioned, and Carson Wentz is the starting quarterback. I don't have a lot of faith in Carson Wentz. I feel like sometimes he just wants to sling that pill. So I'm going to agree with the model. I'm going with the Bengals. Next up, we have Steelers versus Patriots. This is a tough one. I think I'm going to go with the Patriots here. Christian Gonzalez is back, and the Steelers defense has not been able to stop the run, so we'll see what New England can do about that. Mike Vrabel's a very good coach as well. Model picked the Steelers though, so this is our first chance to go against the model, and we are. Next up, the model has picked the Eagles against the Rams. I'm doing that as well. We're also going with the Bucks over Jets, and the Colts, and the Raiders. Model picked the Broncos here. I am going with the Chargers. The Chargers are on a roll right now. Next up, we've got Seahawks. I'm also agreeing with the model here. Now, Cowboys Bears. The model decided that Brian Schottenheimer was not going to be a very good coach for the Cowboys, and it also predicted that Michael Parsons would be on the Cowboys still. This was made before the Michael Parsons trade. Looking at that, you'd think it would happen after it. Don't know why I'm not even defending the model here. I'm just telling you what facts is. It seems to have picked the Bears, thinking that Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams would have got their shit together while Brian Schottenheimer was trying to figure out his stuff on his end. But Shotty seems to be a pretty good coach. Dak is back to being Dak, which means he can sling that pill. I'm going with the Cowboys here. Screw the model. Next up, we've got the Niners versus the Cardinals. I'm also going with the Niners here. This was obviously predicted before Brock Purdy's injury, but Mac Jones can run that offense, that Kyle Shanahan offense. Next up, we've got the Kansas City Chiefs going into New York for Sunday Night Football, into the Factory of Sadness 2.0. Models pick Kansas City Chiefs. Now, the Kansas City Chiefs have looked kind of dog shit. The Giants, on the other hand, while they have lost games, they've been very, very competitive, particularly on the offense. I am going to go with the Giants here, actually. This is one of the 2 New York teams that I would like to do well, so let's hope they do. Next up, we have Monday Night Football. The models pick the Ravens. I think the Lions are a more complete team, offense and defense. It's probably going to be a really good game, but I think I'm going with the Lions here. Let me just check my against the spread picks. Yeah, I am going with the Lions in this matchup. Alright, let us bust through this shit and let's talk about our against the spread picks. Tuesday Night Football. I did not update the score. Thursday Night Football. I did not update the score. I should have the score there and not the handicap. Apologies. Graphics team has continued to dick me around and I'm getting sick of them, actually. I might need to make a change in terms of the graphics team because they're pissing me off. Alright. This was the first time I've actually done a full against the spread pick. As you can see down there, last week's record was the first time that I did one of these, or at least I don't know, season record of 14 and 15. I don't know what's happening on this show right now. The graphics team has not given me the information that I need to succeed. Alright, so week 1 against the spread. had to dig into the data. We went 9-5, and then last week we went 5-10. I was really pissed off with my results here. And then I watched a bunch of other shows, and they did not have a good time either. So I can feel good about that 5-10, honestly. On the season, we are 14-15. We were positive before last week, but let's try to bring that back into the over 500 category. All right, our picks for this week. I'm going with the Falcons, getting 4.5 in Carolina. I'm also going with the Packers. Being a Packers fan, I am not going to go against my team. 7.5 is a big line, though. It's quite a large line in the NFL. So just be wary of that one. I'm going with the Texans, going into Jacksonville, plus 1.5 points. This next game here are the Bengals versus the Vikings. I've talked about the injuries. Jake Browning is the starting quarterback for the Bengals this week, and as I mentioned before, Carson Wentz is the starting quarterback for the Vikings. I'm going with the Bengals here, plus 2.5. I do like that. I don't like Carson Wentz. This pick could be very, very wrong. Carson could be absolutely slinging it under the Kevin O'Connell's system, but we'll find out. Next up, we do have the Steelers getting minus 1.5 going into New England. I've got New England here with the plus points. Again, Christian Gonzalez is back, and that Steelers defense has been having a hard time against the run. So we'll see what happens here in Foxborough. Next game, we've got LA going into Philadelphia. Philadelphia getting the 3.5 as favorites. I'm going with the Eagles here. 3.5 could be a lot of points for this matchup. LA could win this game, definitely, but I am going with the Super Bowl champions, the Eagles, getting out a tough, gritty win there. Next, we've got the Jets going into Tampa Bay. Now, the Jets, Justin Fields is out of this game with a concussion. Tyrod Taylor is the backup quarterback in this one. 6.5 points is a lot of points, but this Tampa team is pretty good. Baker Mayfield's a bit of a dude. I'm going with Tampa here, minus 6.5. Next, we've got Indianapolis Colts going into Tennessee to take on the Titans. Colts on a roll. I'm taking them 3.5 points. I think that's a very, very good line. That's a lot of good value right there. I would take that one if I were you as well. Next, we've got the Raiders going into Washington. The Washington home team is favored by 2.5. I'm taking the Raiders here. I think the Raiders can win this game. Now, Jaden Daniels is injured, and Marcus Mariota is going to be taking over while Jaden has that sprayed knee. In this one, I do like the Raiders. I like them to win the game, so I'm going to take them at the handicap as well. Next, we've got the Chargers hosting the Broncos in a divisional AFC West matchup. Chargers getting 2.5. I think this is a good line. It's probably going to be quite a close game, it being a divisional, but also the Chargers, like Justin Herbert is slinging it. He is slinging that pill. He could absolutely cut up this very difficult Denver defense. So I am going with the Chargers here, minus 2.5. Next, we've got the Seahawks hosting the New Orleans Saints. These Seahawks have been playing ball. Honestly, they have been playing some ball. This Saints team, they are honestly doing better than what I and some other people would have imagined. I still think they lose the game here. I am taking Seahawks at minus 7.5. I know that is a lot of points. It really, really is. I think they can do it though. Next, we've got the Cowboys getting only 1.5 points going into Chicago. This one's a no-brainer. Cowboys should win this game, so 1.5 points. I would definitely take that one. Next up, we've got a divisional matchup of Arizona Cardinals versus the Niners, led by Mac Jones, with Brock Purdy being out. with a toe injury. I'm going with the Niners here. Tough divisional game. I don't think Arizona's passing defense has been very well. They've taken a lot of yards. So I assume Mac Jones is going to be slinging that pill. Probably a lot of dump offs to Christian McCaffrey, picking up a lot of receiving and rushing yards there. Now Sunday Night Football. This game could very well be a banger, and it could very well be a shit show. You never know with these two teams. At least with these two teams this season. 5.5 points does seem like a standard line if we're talking like 2 years ago. Last year, I don't think the Kansas City Chiefs really beat anyone by that many points. Over the regular season, they were all very close games. And the New York Giants, last year, they just sucked. The year before that, they also sucked. Their defense has been the only thing that's been a bright spark for them as a constant, but honestly, you need to score points to win the game. Now, Russell Wilson in the offseason was acquired. He has been slinging that ball. He threw for, I think, 450 yards or something last week. So, big games by him. He's getting good connection with Malik Neighbors as well. I do think that the Giants can cover here, if not win the game. So I'm going with the Giants. And then Monday Night Football, we have the Lions going into Baltimore to take on the Ravens. The Ravens getting 5.5 points here. I'm going with the plus 5.5 with the Detroit Lions here. They're both very good football teams. They're both very high-scoring football teams. I just think that Lions possibly have a better defense than the Baltimore Ravens, so I'm going to go with the Lions here. I think they can outscore and outdefend the Baltimore Ravens. Hey, and that's normally how you win a football game, right? Well, we'll see how these picks go by next week. We'll have a better judgment of if I can pick against the spread or not. Now, we're going to do a new section. This is Lines We Like. What does that mean? These are bets that can bump up your multi-game props or whatever it is that you're setting up, your parlays. That's what we call them. These can beef up a parlay. So first I want to talk about a Thursday Night Football win, because that was this week. I got these odds at $11.25. So those were the odds. If you're a US viewer, we do have a different way of calculating our bets. I don't particularly understand the way you guys do it with your plus 500 and all of that. The way we do it, the odds were 11.25. You put $1 on, you get $11.25 back. You know, you put $10 on, you get $110. Simple. Now, the parlay was Josh Allen 3 passing touchdowns, Tua to get a passing touchdown. His over for rushing was 0.5 rushing yards, so I took it. And Malik Washington also had an over of 4.5 rushing yards. So, cashed in a nice little parlay there. It was a very nice Friday at work to see that one tick off. Now, lines we like. Spread this week. I do like the Colts at 3.5. I like the Dallas Cowboys at 1.5. I like the Falcons at 4.5. I like the Chargers at 2.5, and I also like Raiders money line. If you're looking for a better odds there, Raiders money line is better than their spread pick, with them not being favored going into that game. Now, over unders this week that we like. I like the Carolina Panthers total points to be under 19.5 against the Atlanta Falcons. The Tennessee Titans, I do like them to score under 19.5 points this week. Lions versus Ravens. Now, I don't normally throw in Monday Night Football bets into my parlays, but this is lines we like. Alright. So one of the lines we like is Lions at Ravens total match points over 52.5. Now, props for this week, things that we like. Jake Browning interception, Carson Wentz interception, Spencer Rattler interception, Dak Prescott over 5.5 rushing yards, Matthew Stafford over 0.5 rushing yards, and a Daniel Jones touchdown. Now that Matt Stafford over 0.5 rushing yards, that could be a little bait. He has gone for negative rush yards in the last 2 games. But again, if he just takes a couple steps forward and then doesn't have no garbage time kneels, you just beefed up your parlay. All right, now let's talk about our bets for this week. Every week we do a 5-game parlay, and then we do a $1 million bet. Now, we want to become a millionaire on the channel, and we want to do it the easy way. So follow me and throw $10 on this massive parlay. Enjoy Sunday football, and then guess what? You're a millionaire. It's that simple. Now run it with me. Our 5-game parlay. Now, I did want better odds, so I did boost some of these handicaps. As you can see, I do think the Dallas Cowboys will beat the Chicago Bears, and I think they'll score by probably 10 points. So Dallas Cowboys minus 9.5 there. I'm taking that Las Vegas Raiders money line from things that we liked. Now, I did beef up the Indianapolis Colts handy spread as well to 8.5 points, so they do need to win by 9 there going into Tennessee. Atlanta Falcons total points over 24.5. I really do like that one. Michael Penix, Bijan Robinson, they are coming into their own. Drake London's probably going to get a touchdown, honestly. Falcons are here. We got the Los Angeles Chargers as well. I did beef that one up just a little bit. It is a divisional game. But I do think that, Justin Herbert is going to be throwing that ball around. I've got them at 4.5 points. So they do need to win by 5 for that one. Now, that is the 5-game parlay. If you are trying to be a bit safer, you can take the Dallas Cowboys at their standard line right now, which is 1.5 points. You can take the Indianapolis Colts at their standard line, which is 3.5 points. And you can also take the Los Angeles Chargers at their standard line, which is 2.5 points. Now, Las Vegas Raiders money line is going to stay. Atlanta Falcons total over under should be about 24.5. So if you're looking for something safer, just knock down those other 3 lines there. Now let's talk about this Millie bet. What do we need? We need Geno Smith to have over 13.5 rush yards. We need Brock Bowers to have at least 80 receiving yards. Daniel Jones to get a TD. It's kind of inevitable. We've got Baker Mayfield to get over 30 rush yards. We've got Jalen Hurts to pick up 2 TDs. Christian McCaffrey and also Bijan Robinson to pick up 150 yards each. Now that's rushing and receiving combined. Justin Herbert to throw 2+ touchdowns. Dak Prescott to throw 3+ touchdowns. Carson Wentz to throw an interception. And Malik Neighbors to get 2 TDs. Now, if some of those lines are a bit risky for you, and I can see a couple of them that might be, and you want to knock them down, please go ahead. But if you're looking for that $1 million payout, throw $10 on that bad boy. Now, everybody, just going to say that was The Shaun Show. Season 2, Episode 5. We'll be back soon with more bets and stuff. We might actually have a segment where we talk about some information in the NFL. I am waiting for a few weeks to come up so I can talk about targets, red zone targets, all of that stuff. Just need a little bit more data. 2 weeks of NFL football is not enough to be throwing that around just yet. But anyway, guys, I will see you soon. And that was The Shaun Show. Peace out, everybody. Have a good weekend.